Coach Pittman.
Okay. Hello, my name is Coach Pittman. I coach a wrestling program here at Peninsula Park in Portland, Oregon. We've been around for about 50 years, and I coach kids, adults, and just coach people. I teach them how to deal with situations that come in their life. I use wrestling in the terms of we're all wrestling to make better choices, always dealing with the outcome, not the the output, not the outcome. So it's different in most programs. I could care less what the outcome is as long as you give me the output. Main thing I want to talk about is, say for today, let's say happiness. And happiness is not an absence of problems, but it's the ability to deal with them. Like you might be dealing with your kids today. You might not be happy, but it's how you deal with them. And these are the things that we want to just touch on, things that you can do to maybe look at it a little differently. Because now is the time. Now is the time.
Coach, one thing you always stressed to me is just, I guess, the own sense of control we have over how we feel, whether it's who makes us angry or what have you. And I think at times like these, you really see how valuable those lessons you taught myself and the other kids at Peninsula, that ability to choose your happiness, to choose what upsets you. Maybe you could talk more about how you teach kids some of those skills.
Well, one of the things we forget, kids are very smart. And you don't have to teach them anything, just let them look at you.
Right, yeah, that's good.
So I always let them see me in positions where I should be upset, but I'm not upset. I should be sad, but I'm not sad. And let them come up with their own definition and maybe ask me questions. Why aren't you mad? Why don't you get upset when people talk about you? You know, don't you
Why
want
don't
people? Because it doesn't matter. You know, what they say about me doesn't matter. It's what I say about myself. That's the main thing. It's what you say to yourself about yourself when you're looking in that mirror.
You know, that's a great point. I always remember as a kid, every time we'd see you and ask, how are you? You'd say never better. And like you're saying, it's not something you can fake. Kids, you know, you can't tell a kid to be happy and be have a very negative affect, be grumpy, yelling at them, upset all the time, and say, kids, you should be happy, because they're going to shut you out and they know you don't believe what you're saying. But you, like you said, you lived it, and you were a standard in that area for a lot of kids.
You know, kids are born manipulators, and probably maybe better than born manipulators, they're born body language readers. And so when parents say something, the kid reads their body language, and if it matches, they listen. If it doesn't match, they don't listen. Period.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. I observe classrooms and I watch students and teachers interacting, and I throw out the words. I'm watching their energy, their body language, the distance. And what they say, especially as adults, we're good at lying.
Oh,
you lie with words. You can't lie with your body language.
No. One of the things that these kids do is they want attention. And in the classroom, they'll say stuff like, not out loud, if you don't give me attention, I'm going to act out. I'm going to make you give me attention.
That's funny you said that. I always try to tell teachers, I say, you know, if I ask you a question, if I'm trying to get your attention and you ignore me, what am I going to do?
Yes.
I'm going to say it louder.
Or do something.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to make sure I'm heard. So I guess for me, a lot what we try to do is teach kids how to be heard in a socially appropriate way, um, rather than trying to ignore them or judge why they want to be heard.
Well, this is why you acknowledge them all,
Mm-hmm.
or you let them think you're watching them just by maybe a nod of the head or just looking at them, putting them in a group. I can remember we were at a tournament one day, and this kid said the most profound thing I ever heard.
Okay.
Oh, he told his dad, he says, "Dad, don't make me make you beat me." And I said, "What?" He said, "Don't make me make you beat me."
Mm.
And, and I thought about this for a while, and I said, you know what? That's true.
Mm.
If he wants his dad's attention and he doesn't give him attention, he's going to do something to make his dad punish him.
Mm.
And so that's all of these young people.
I guess, and that's an interesting thing, and something you've talked a lot about. You throw out good, bad, right, or wrong. He wanted, we have wants and needs, and whether we should have them or not is irrelevant.
Yes, it's in our society, it's easy to build a strong kid than to repair a broken man.
Mm.
And repairing, building a strong kid is a lot easier because all they want is attention
Mm-hmm.
at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And we must know that they're all different. We all know our kids. Where we get in trouble is we want our kids to be like someone else's kid or someone else in our minds. And they'll never measure up. Never.
Do you think, Coach, are kids needier today, or do they have different needs? How is that? I guess to me, in my work, you're always looking at, in education, the rates of problem behavior are through the roof. The rates of mental illness, you shake a stick in a classroom and you're going to find kids with mental illness. And they're getting worse year by year, and it's getting worse quickly. I don't know if you see changes in kids that may be contributing to that.
We all have needs, and they're different.
Mm-hmm.
But 1 out of every 5 people are going to have mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And what we think is it's not going to be us, and it's not going to be our kids or my kid because of my status or because of something. And I'm here to tell you, yes, it will. Yes, it is. And then we get in denial. And we deny this for such a long period of time that these kids, they act out to get out.
What do you think of the idea? So what did you say at the start? Happiness is a result of...
It's not an absence of problems. It's just how you deal with it.
Right. So I guess to me, I see a lot of times in schools, and now especially, we're trying to remove all the problems as opposed to teach kids how to respond and overcome them.
Just how to deal with little situations so they can handle big situations.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think of... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I guess I always think, you take the smartest kid, the best kid ever, and if he's never dealt with adversity, at some point he's not the smartest kid in the room. And what's he or she going to do at that time? I feel like I like working with, challenging kids because they can become experts at resilience.
Yes.
And that's what I love. I think, we've talked about that. They get a lot of practice overcoming small problems. And once they find their way and get comfortable with their skills, they can do anything.
Yeah. Well, success is not where you end up. It's how far you come from where you started. Mm-hmm. And many of these kids, they are very successful. And we talk like with Dylan, we want them to have a voice, but when they do have this voice, we don't listen to them. Mm. Or they talk so loud, we tell them to shut up. It's something. And all they want to do is to be heard, and to be acknowledged for what they know, not what we know, but what they know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this education, it just, with kids, it's in their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And we as teachers, coaches, and what have you, we want every kid to learn the same way, and they won't, and they can't. So, like the first thing that I do, whenever I go into a practice room, before I have this syllabus of what I'm going to teach kids, first I have to know who's in the room. And if I know who's in the room, then I can have a picture of what I want these kids to work on. Because sometimes they're in there and let's say something has happened in their neighborhood and they just want to talk. That's all. One of the biggest things that I've seen with young people today is they never get a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones when something happens to them. We just assume that, hell, they'll get over it, they're young, but they never said goodbye to maybe the grandma or the grandpa or to someone, one of their friends that's close to them. Mm-hmm. They never have a chance, and we don't even acknowledge it. It just goes right over our head. So in our practice rooms and things, when we know kids are going through that, they're going to act out. Act out to get out or act out just for attention. And we need to acknowledge that and not punish them or not label them. Because then it's, what are they going to do the next day? Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, and especially there's going to be a lot more loss coming, both in relatives and family and just in physical experiences. I guess one thing it kind of makes me optimistic about is maybe more of a return to community and building those relationships and communities to better be able to support our kids as opposed to just trying to.
Another thing it's getting young kids to understand is don't join an easy crowd because then you won't grow. You won't challenge yourself. And that's why many of these young people sit in the back of the room, laugh and joke together. Like I always tell the kid, no one respects a clown. But they all want to just show off.
Yeah. Maybe we can take a quick break, Coach, and talk more about that.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, 1 second here.